There's art everywhere. As humans, we just have to make it. If there's something deep inside of us that bubbles up, and we just have to make representations of our experiences, of our life, of our culture. So it makes sense that all of our buildings are tattooed by great artists. What if you could do it the other way? What if life could imitate art? What if rather than having art painted on all the big buildings and sculptures at the base of high-rises, you had a crazy architecture firm? You had a developer that was wild enough, some dreamers, some people that were willing to take a risk to make a sculpture that you could live in. Wouldn't that be crazy? If you built a building as a sculpture and then put a bunch of plumbing in it so that people could live there full time. Well, today we're gonna go look at a building that tried to do exactly that. It's won every single award you could win. It's the only super prime building in North America. One of the few super prime buildings on planet Earth. And I would argue that this skyscraper is more art than life, and it is all art. So we just came from Little Italy by way of Gaslamp through the core district. We land ourselves in Embarcadero. Some people call it the waterfront. Some people say that this is the beginning of a new renaissance in downtown San Diego because there are some buildings built primarily by builders like Bosa that are doing some crazy things. They hired an architect, KPF, and they build things like this. 41 floors protruding from a 2-story podium right across the street from San Diego Bay and the Pacific Ocean, around the trains, around the trolleys. You're in the center of it all. This is where everybody wants to be. This building itself gives you the ability to live in a piece of sculptural artwork, and it is cultural. It is everything that you've seen from all over the world smashed in together and constructed to be one of the tallest buildings on the American West Coast. But next, we're gonna go check out a sculpture in front of it that sets the tone. Check this out. Plenza built this sculpture right behind me, and the idea is really beautiful. Plenza is not just a big architect here in San Diego now, he's huge in the world. And he has this idea with a lot of his architecture that he wants to bring people together. He wants to bring you into a big story. And his big story is a story of humanity. And so it makes sense that this structure that from the exterior you can tell is a gentleman or maybe a woman sitting down, but this whole thing is built up of 8 different languages from all over the world. It's got Hebrew, Latin, Greek, Japanese, Chinese, Hindi. But here's the idea. All of these little pieces are meant to look like the roots of a tree in a rainforest. And as they extend out about eye level, they turn into ribbons. And the idea is this. This man, or this woman, is all things. And there is no one culture to this piece. There is so much unity. Most of these languages actually came from each other. And so it's hard to distinguish where one person starts and the other person ends. Even the building behind me, a work of art that it is also a work of culture because people from Japan and China and all over the world live in this building right now. And so this is such an appropriate structure to be the first thing you see when you walk into Pacific Gate. Because it's not just about art and culture, it's about people. Hello, and welcome to 3401. Hold for click. This is the Plan T. It's the best plan for many reasons. One of those reasons, it's right here. The master bedroom in the Plan T. I've sold estates in Rancho Santa Fe. I've been in some of the most fabulous homes in Beverly Hills. They all have one thing in common. The primary bedroom has to be large, has to be substantial. It has to be a place where you can feel free. And one of the things that carries through this sense of this building being art, a sculpture, is from the exterior, from the public, what other people see. But from the interior, it's also art. Because these metal framed windows, they frame different parts of our city. From here to Little Italy, you can see it from this window. And these windows out here, well, that's nature's gallery. Because this is where you're gonna entertain your friends, right here in this kitchen. There's some other things here that are very cool, like a under countertop or under mount microwave, which is sort of my cup of tea, but it's this space. This is the space you're gonna show everybody. This is where you get to see the artwork of San Diego. And so we have this book here. It's almost as if it was planted by our producer. It's a Picasso book. If you remember that quote, Picasso said, "Every child is an artist." Well, I will say this, I think luxury real estate is very similar in that there's a childlike quality of wonder, of excitement, of creativity, of art inside of high-end homes like this. Because there's an experience that's not based on your basic needs of shelter, it's based on wanting to live in this big, bold, creative, courageous way. And that's what you get here. Living in a space like this on the 34th floor, 34 floors above sea level, it takes creativity, it takes courage, and there's a feeling that's hard to describe. But let me show it to you.
Baby, I'm fresh.
Hello. Oh, jeez, this is, wow, that was a lot of WD-40 on that one. So here we find ourselves on the balcony. This is where the big conclusion part of the vlog happens. Frank Lloyd Wright, the late great architect who paved the way for all of these buildings and all of this contemporary architecture that now defines our city, he said, art for art's sake, that is the philosophy of the well-fed. That means that the highest form of life, if you have the ability to, if you can afford it, is just to make beauty and enjoy it. Yes, this is a high-rise skyscraping residence, but it's so many more things. And at the very basic level, it is art. This is the dramatic part where I walk away. Put the credits right down here. Logos and stuff too. Okay, bye.